please see the link in this episode's description for a trailer for an element of pugilism. And there is a Z-Fest like contest going on, so do with that as you will. I'm a libertarian. I want you to choose what you want to choose.
No, I mean, don't you want people to like us? That's the whole point of it.
I want people to like us for us, not because they feel like...
Because we told them to?
Yeah, we're informing them,
sure.
And then they can make their own decision.
Well, please click the link and click like.
Thank you.
You're listening to this episode on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. Hit that subscribe button and leave us a comment. It would greatly benefit the show. Hello and welcome back to Movie Baiters with the Farx Brothers. I'm Kirk.
I'm Kyle.
And we're here with Andrew Macht. Andrew Macht?
You guys been saying it right this entire time. Like, you guys are questioning yourself.
I have said previous guests' last names wrong, so we're having a, I want to say loose debate about the Oscar sound nominees.
Yes.
We'll be diving into spoilers.
Because Andrew is a sound editor, or excuse me, a dialogue editor. That's your preferred title?
That is the main duty I do. I do get into sound effects study, and I do supervise others. But yes, the primary role that I always get seated in is dialogue editing.
In between the non-spoiler and spoiler episodes, Andrew was sharing about some troubles that children have had and how they can be emotional roller coasters. So I fucked up yesterday. My daughter fell off the monkey bars, and I called my wife because I saw a message on my way to go do something else. They wanted to go see a doctor because she fell off the monkey bars. Now I know that sounds like, oh gosh, that's really scary, right? But it was they texted me. If it were an emergency, they'd call me. So, but they were we wanted to get seen by a doctor. So I take her to the doctor after falling, off the monkey bar. And this is not like any of the stories you told me, because you have ongoing, things with your children that would give me stress every day. And you've made me more thankful for the conditions of my children and that my daughter didn't break her neck yesterday. My daughter's fine. She had blood on her head from falling off trying to hang upside down, go to the doctor. As I suspected, the doctor's no, didn't lose consciousness. She's, not. But what he was here's the things to look out for. I was let me stop you. I'm going to take notes and send it to my wife. Losing consciousness, worse headache, vomiting, more tired, walking differently.
Concussion.
And then
That's a list.
Yeah, well, that's a concussion. They describe a concussion with all the symptoms.
Yes, and that's the thing you have to be concerned of.
Yeah.
Does she have a concussion from this happening?
Yeah.
And I hit send instead of just leaving it in draft form. And as I'm leaving the doctor, it's okay, thanks, doc. And then my wife is freaking out. She's are all these things happening? And I'm oh, I'm sorry. I hit send, didn't I? I did not mean to do that. I'm sorry, honey. What?
You have to preface the list. This is the list of things to look out for.
Yes, I was in the moment and thinking...
I would have just replied to her a concussion, honey.
That she does not have. That she doesn't have a concussion. And, oh my God. I did watch Wicked with my daughter, and that's the only time I've seen it. See, I could get it back to the Oscar nominees.
We watched The Wild Robot together.
Oh,
yeah, that was awesome. The kids actually really enjoyed it.
Did they cry? Did you cry? Does anyone have a heart in your house? I'm just kidding.
Wow.
No, I'm the one that kind of gets emotional towards films. But no, I didn't cry towards it. It definitely, drew a nerve just to see, a mother struggling The Wild Robot. I guess that is probably the only one that was really emotional towards me that I connected with. Like I said, I didn't actually watch Wicked yet. That's literally the only nomination for both Golden Reels and Oscars that I just did not have time to get to just because I was busy actively working.
Sure.
Two jobs for everyone's record on this.
Listen to the interview section next. That's the audience. Yeah.
I mean, that 2 hours of sleep, I could throw it in there.
Did you watch Amelia Perez?
Yes, I did.
When the son sings about his father's smell to the person that is his parent but has transitioned, I found that very touching. This is a spoiler section. I can spoil something.
I didn't. I thought it was a little too generic how he was describing his dad. It all had to do with his work and being a bad guy. It isn't very sentimental, right?
The movie is boring.
You thought it was boring.
It
Completely
was.
boring.
Did you find it interesting?
I was so jazzed on thinking every 5 minutes they made a decision that was absolutely bonkers, and I forgot that it was a musical when I started it.
I definitely did not.
Wait, you went in going, "Oh, this is a musical."
I like musicals. Literally, The Sound of Music sticks to me from. It's just a traditional musical. But no, like you, Kurt, musicals aren't my draw, though.
What's a recent musical you've liked? Now I'll bait you that now that we're cool like that.
I more like biopics, and so they're not necessarily a musical.
Like A Complete Unknown, isn't that a musical?
Yeah,
on some
yeah,
level?
that's called a biopic.
I actually call it a biopic.
Yeah, I was going to make that joke.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's
You
okay.
go ahead. You make the joke so you can edit it.
But biopics are more cinematic.
Yeah.
That's the difference between your traditional musical.
What? What do you mean they're more cinematic?
Musicals are linear based on the orchestration and flow of how that song's delivered, where you have segments of dialogue and story elements to build up to their career and stuff like that.
Oh, you mean in terms of sound, they're more cinematic?
No, just the film and everything. Like, it's more cinematic because when I say more cinematic, it's more story driven than it is based on the music actually driving the story forward. Like, they have dialogue exchanges that were actually things that were said from the actual person themselves. They take these elements together and then build the story around those, and that's what makes a biopic. Now, a lot of those everything in those movies aren't completely true, but they try doing their homework to make them as true as possible.
So one definition I've heard of a true musical is that if when they're singing, it drives the story forward, it's a musical. Would you agree with that? Is that in contrast to what you said, or is that in alignment?
Musicals are literally dedicated specifically music-driven story.
Yes, music should be driving the story, but the story shouldn't stop. Like, did you see Joker Foley Do? The story stops somewhat. When
I
they
wouldn't
sing.
call that musical.
Yeah.
It's not choreographed at all.
Yeah,
It's not the choreography that specifically
but
makes it a musical.
it actually doesn't take the genre musical for that one just because of what the elements are, but it's been talked about that it should
Be considered a musical?
Yes,
Because that was the buzz going into it. Is like, they're making a musical. Can you believe it?
but that's just the way they wanted to tell the story with Harley Quinn. It's such that one was a weird one.
Don't you think that should have been nominated for sound or
No.
something like that? Was the sound good or bad? Joker Foley Do.
Well, I'm not very picky. That's the one key here. If you want to know what I voted for, is I don't hate on any film ever.
Oh, I'm the same. I try to be. I mean,
Not just sound, just film in general. The entire picture all together.
unless you're working on it, right?
Yeah, well, even then, it's very, very rare. But when I get picky, you're right. When I'm working on it, but only what I'm touching. Now, there are certain people that I work with that, drive a different nerve. But
What do you mean drive a different nerve?
they're not friendly to work with.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's a very Minnesota way of saying that. Thank you.
So they kind of drive a different way, or they don't want to work in a uniform workflow where it actively helps aid everybody.
Oh,
where
yeah.
they kind of they're stuck in their own path and don't want to make it more everyone influence the piece together, or working with people that think sound is nothing or just think they just need it, then it actually is a part of the composition, the entire thing, the film, the product.
You're storytellers too, and you're helping to tell the story.
Yeah. The people that actually can appreciate all the elements together, not just one area, is, the people I like working for, where they're like, oh yeah, sound is another part of the movie, which, we make up 50% of the sound, and in a musical, we're making up way more than that. because the music is literally driving those stories. Where the traditional film, theatrical movie, that's split down the middle, where pictures driving it, sounds driving it. Musicals, I say, is more just because it's focused on that element, where in a biopics on its other level, where dialogue's more heavily focused. And same with documentaries, where when you get to your theatrical thing, the cinematic thing, like your Dark Knight series and stuff like that, where it's all about your VFX and the video team and all that stuff, that's when you're going to get more appreciative towards the picture, That's kind of the traditional, consumer element. But in general, regardless of the genre, it's all accompanying together at the end. Everyone's trying to drive to make the best product they can to deliver to the audience.
See, I was going to argue with you that A Complete Unknown is a musical because the story is driven forward while they're singing.
It's not a musical.
That's a biopic.
I know this is a contentious
it's
argument.
It's not an argument. It's a biopic.
The reason that people have said it is because you find out that he's cheating. He communicates that he's cheating to
because of the song he sings.
Yeah. Wait, give your snap.
Oh yeah, did you want to snap that?
You can do it into your chest.
I think the last gonna sound worse than this.
See, that's a post guy telling you, no, use the shotgun, not the love.
All right.
Well, there's more dynamic range to that.
We know you're right. This one you can have. It's my hobby horse to get up on.
Hobby horse?
Hobby, yeah, it's a horse that I use for a hobby, and then I ride it for the sake of...
Have you heard of hobby horse?
Sure, I'll give him that one.
Oh.
See, he doesn't know all my idioms. He got mad at me for neophyte earlier when I said...
Yeah, what is neophyte?
Someone who's new and doesn't know what something is.
I give him the last one, too.
Yeah.
I never said he's completely right, so I give it to him.
Yeah.
Neophyte is a word. I can spell it. So the PH instead of an F. Anyways.
But it's not a musical. Complete Unknown is not a musical. A musical has to have some choreographed dance, right, in the background or something.
So they do move in unison across the stages and sets and all that stuff for Complete Unknown. But there's not a bunch of dance numbers like in your traditional musical.
Similar to what's the song she sings in Wicked? Yeah, I know you haven't seen it.
Popular?
Not Popular. The one that everyone thinks is more important than Popular.
Defying Gravity?
Defying Gravity. Like the climax of Wicked, when she's singing Defying Gravity, is similar to when Turbo Timmy is singing his electric songs in A Complete Unknown. I call him Turbo Timmy because in what's it called? In Interstellar, Timothée Chalamet is in it, and Matthew McConaughey's character calls him Turbo. So I've started calling him Turbo.
Just watched Interstellar recently. I'm trying to think of that scene that you're talking
Timothée
about.
Chalamet is toward the beginning before he turns into Casey Affleck. So the Casey Affleck character's younger self is Timmy Chalamet, and I have started calling him Turbo Timmy, and taking Nikki Glazer's joke and pronouncing Chalamet like Adam Sandler would. Chalamet! If you say Turbo Timmy Chalamet, it'll make it easier to talk about him as a regular presence. He's in 2 of the Sound nominees, Dune and Complete Unknown, and Dune is likely going to win. Isn't that one at the Golden Reels?
Yes, for one of the categories. Yeah,
the one that's most analogous to the Oscar category is that.
Dune won for Foley.
Oh
wow.
Yep.
Wait, so they separated out in the Golden Reels to where there's a Foley and then production sound?
Not production sound, no.
They just have a separate because you have to submit that these are what we did for the post sounds effects.
Well, us professionals are sorry.
No, the terminology correct.
No. It's just you have an ear for it, so a lot of us can tell the difference between what can be Foley and what can be a sound effect or what can be music and all that stuff. Let's just talk about the definition of Foley real quick, just because it already got brought up once.
I got it wrong in an earlier episode. Anyone who's
Sound that is recorded in sync with picture in real time. It is unique sound that is recorded in sync to picture. It is not you go record a sound effect and add it to picture later. It is literally performed in real time with picture rolling during post. Now it's a post workflow, but what they do is they have a projector or a screen on set or a display of some sort so they can see the picture, and then they roll playback, and then the mics are live, and then they're actually performing these actions. It's done to recreate the production sound elements. So when we're on set, we're focused directly on dialogue most of the time. Let's say an actor's, opening a car door and they got keys in their hand and all that stuff. The microphone's more focused towards the chest resonance and point at the sternum to pick up the dialogue at the best ratio from signal to noise, but the keys are down probably towards her hip or something like that, so it's not going to get brought up as loud. And then the next thing is the dialogue editor comes in, and then they have to clean up the dialogue, and sometimes those elements get removed, like the footsteps can get removed, the keys can get removed because that might be just too much noise that's interfering with the dialogue that's delivered. So then that has to get re-added back in post through Foley. Foley is a unique process that has acoustic properties that you couldn't really find in a sound effect library, because these libraries were recorded in a certain environment than what your picture is done in. And Foley is there to recreate and reestablish the connection to the picture. And so a lot of things are done to regenerate those acoustic environments to make it sound unique to the film, and it's literally you're behaving as a character without actually delivering the dialogue.
Could you give an example of how the environment could be recreated? Like if it was shot outside, you go outside, you take 2 shoes and record the shoes getting the footsteps because those are removed during the dialogue pass.
Yeah, so there's Foley pits. Foley pits have all these sorts of different textures in them. There's tile, concrete, all that stuff. These are literally like in the ground pits that are to the earth that we walk on, so literally dirt, and then we build structures around these areas and build the foundation of the pit based on just that level, and then we start taking in actual real grasses or fake grasses and start blending that stuff together with the dirt to make artificial grass sounds. And then it's not even artificial, we're literally taking real grass and stuff like that a lot of the times, or we might use 1/4-inch tape some of the times depending on what is required for the acoustic resonance. And then like tile, walking in a kitchen, we have tile laid out on the floor that is literally laid out like tile in a house, exactly with mortar and all that. We literally build it out just like your kitchen floor. And then we walk on these surfaces to, imitate what happened for that character. And now we're not recreating what was done on set necessarily, we're recreating what's done in picture. We're trying to worldize characters based on their environment, not necessarily what that element is, what the set location was.
Why do you think Dune won the Foley Award in the Golden Reels?
Dynamic range. Exactly, it left room to breathe. With animation, The Wild Robot, although phenomenal sound design, and I know the entire team that did that. I know the entire team for Dune 2.
Flex. That's a flex.
Yeah, Emilia Perez, I know a lot of those people. I know actually a lot of the sound team for pretty much every nomination.
Nice.
I can literally talk to them right this very second and get them on the call if you guys want to bring them in. But
I don't want to. Someone listening to this might wonder, so I'll just bring it up. Do you know if any of the people on the Emilia Perez team are upset with the recent developments that may have caused their movie to, like, it's in the Oscar betting pool? It's the least likely to win this category.
Oh yeah, for a lot of the things that I look for in the film is what a lot of these other people are actually looking for in movies. So there's your hint on what I voted for. But
what's going to win, or excuse me, Oscar betting is a usual Betting markets are a good indication of action that groups of individuals will be taking. Betting markets I like to use as predictors for how lots of events are going to work out.
I never stare at any of those, so
You shouldn't. It's not healthy. I don't.
because I'm a part of it. So
you don't want to Pete Rose it. I understand.
so guild members all can talk, but
sure.
we can't talk outside.
What I meant by the Amelia Perez stuff is like the star going off and she has some bad tweets or something like that.
Yeah.
I haven't looked up all of them. I read some of them and they're not great.
Honestly, I don't follow any actor ever. I honestly don't care about their life outside of that. Like, I care about actors that I personally know, but I don't care about every actor's personal life.
Are you unaware of what I'm talking about with Amelia Perez?
I heard a little bit of the rumors, but I haven't dug into it at all for my own interest or anything like that. Just I don't care.
Don't care. It's stupid.
But I can tell you, I thought Amelia Perez was boring.
Yes. Somehow I didn't know what the story was going in.
I did.
Okay, so that would change it if you know that's.
I knew exactly what it came to.
What it came...
the story, the overall ending and all that.
Oh, you know how it ended? Yeah. Okay, we're in spoilers, so screw it. Like, that car chase, I was excited. Like, now we're having a car chase? It was what I thought.
Was it? Yeah. Nobody was chasing that car. They were fighting in the car.
Well, it's a car. It's an action scene in a car, so...
Yeah, but not a car chase.
And okay,
a car chase would imply another car.
Excuse me. It is but aren't they like rushing somewhere or something to that effect?
I think they're trying to escape from the people who are shooting at them for sure.
I thought that was
a great
exciting.
cartel movie.
It's a what?
Cartel movie. That's all it is.
Well, yeah. I guess I just didn't know that it would be the head of a cartel that was transitioning, and then that would be like, we're going to set up a fund to deal with all the awful things that cartels have done, and from a French director who by his own admission didn't do much research on Mexico. He went on vibes.
I guess my favorite cartel show is Narcos.
Sure.
Yeah, that's great.
That's a lot of people like that.
I really like Narcos. I guess if outside of like kind of faked, because Narcos is real, Breaking Bad is ultimate for me. Is like that is
cartel
money.
Show.
Yeah, money for me. Breaking Bad was amazing, and then they came out with the film to kind of end everything.
El Camino?
Yeah, El Camino, yeah.
There's no car chases in El Camino, as I remember.
I haven't seen it.
Oh. Well.
Yeah, there's car chaser right at the beginning.
Thank you. I couldn't remember, to be quite honest. I just wanted to screw with Kirk.
Yeah, about car chase? Do you want to have a debate about car chases?
Well, I guess, is it a car chase or is it another escape?
I mean, it's a car chase escape, yeah.
Well, if there's a second car, it's a car chase.
Was there a second car? I can't remember now. Because Jesse Pinkman running away at the end.
Yeah, it was literally right after he left Walter White.
Yeah, he's just racing away before the cops get there.
He's trying to get away from the cops, get away from everything and all that.
I mean, the cops are chasing him. That's car chase.
Yeah, they were searching for him. They knew who he was and all that. They were literally trying to find him.
Well, that's similar to Amelia Press because they're trying to get away from people that are shooting at them.
That's a car chase too.
See, thank you. I win the car chase debate. This is a bait show.
That's a debate?
Yeah.
It's a it didn't say it's a debate or a master of debating. It's just,
But yeah, if there's vehicles literally following, chasing the car,
there you go.
That's a car chase.
I didn't see a second car in Emilia Perez.
I had a debate with somebody on how you pronounce it because I'm pretty sure with the accent symbol on the first E, it's Perez.
Yeah, that's how it's pronounced.
Fuck yeah, you would know because you're a dialogue editor and you know how things are supposed to be pronounced.
Yeah. Well, I don't know every language. Hell, I worked on the Italian thing. I had no idea what the language was.
Wait, so
I don't speak Italian.
How are you dialogue editing? Do you just listening for clarity and making sure you can get all the volumes?
Every language has certain articulations, and that's what you listen for while you're dialogue editing. So, I've worked on Chinese films. I mean,
Are these all on your IMDb?
Not every film, no. My IMDb definitely needs to get updated further. I have way more credits that need to get added that aren't there. But a chunk of them are there, at least short film-wise.
Well, let me ask you this. How do you feel about what The Brutalist did to AI the pronunciation of words so it was closer to the dialect of the country the people were coming from.
I can actually tell when AI is used.
Okay.
I tell everyone, don't send me AI shit. Sure. So,
should the Brutalist lose for what it did is what I'm asking you.
Did it lose?
No, should it lose?
What was it nominated for?
It's not nominated for sound, but are you aware of, so apparently they did some sort of post-production.
It's to imitate some of the actors that couldn't come back for ADR.
Is that what it is?
Yep.
But the actors own their voice.
They agree to getting it processed by AI. It's literally someone surrendering their rights for AI. It's not really surrendering your rights. It's just, hey, they did not want to come back in, so they were approved to use AI. Sometimes these actors, especially when it comes to Hollywood actors, can be assholes. Really,
I believe you.
A lot of these actors just get pissed off and really hate ADR, and they say, fuck it, I'm not coming back.
What's your position on the Brutalist and what happened there? Did they misuse AI or not? Is kind of what I've heard. Brady Corbet, or how do you say his last name? Does anyone know?
AI was not used incorrectly by the means of who requested it and how it was done. But I hate AI dialogue because I personally can hear it.
Can you give an example? Well, off the top of my head, there's the Gabby Petito documentary on Netflix that just
Petito.
The girl who got killed by her boyfriend and then he
Gabby
killed himself. Petito, yes. Petito? It doesn't matter. That one, they AI'd voice for her. Mufasa.
Mufasa did, yeah.
Yeah, James Earl Jones signed away his.
Wow.
Yeah, because you hear Mufasa talk, and James Earl Jones has been dead for like 2 years. And the Anthony Bourdain documentary used.
Yeah, some of Star Wars is also AI.
What? Which Star Wars?
No, Ahsoka.
Wait, Ahsoka has AI? Where?
It's when she made it to one of the temples.
Wait, is it because the actor died? What's his name? Ray Stevenson? Ray Stevenson?
Don't know why they used it. I can tell you
But you could tell they used it somewhere in
yeah. And I know the dialogue editor too, so.
So you have it on that basis.
But no, I don't think AI by any means is bad. Everyone freaks out about it in stupid ways.
But you don't want people to send you AI shit. What do you mean by that? And then what are you okay with?
That is what I mean. I'm not okay with AI at all in anything just because it sounds bad.
Okay. I see.
I can literally tell that it's AI. But people try pulling off EQing it, blah, 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 to make it sound like it's the person talking.
Can you tell in what parts of The Brutalist they use the AI? Because I have no fucking idea watching The Brutalist. Did you see The Brutalist?
Yeah, I watched The Brutalist, yeah. Yeah, I'm just trying to recall what scenes that were terrible. Actually, it's where I was going off. Like, there's areas where it's okay, and then areas where it's just, why did you try it, kind of thing.
What's an example of where it's okay? Are you thinking specifically of The Brutalist or generally still?
The Brutalist. Okay. I mean, just the opener.
And the prologue?
Yeah.
Huh. So there's AI that I can tell. What are you listening for that you can tell?
Yeah, the articulation of the human voice. There's nuances that you can hear that are very, it's missing certain harmonics of the human voice, that it's just not picking up correctly.
Because it's too smooth or something?
It artificially distorts the harmonics of the human voice.
Is it like almost robotic in some ways?
It's very much once you hear it and I like really pinpoint it out, you'll be like, oh, and then you won't stop hearing it. And then it'll be literally everything you hear from now on, and then you're like, oh my god, AI is terrible, this is never gonna win the industry over.
Here's my bait is you know that scene in The Matrix where he's eating the steak but he knows he's in the Matrix?
Okay, go on.
I think that there will be a generation of people that just get trained up on like not caring about, it's like how people don't care about film versus digital photography.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can tell film. I feel like there's something to be seen in like even older movies that were shot on film look better than modern movies that are shot digitally, one could argue. But there's not an appreciation by the generation coming up behind us. So they're just going to get used to digital slop. Like, I think a generation from now, they'll get used to AI'd voice stuff.
Well, it's just the way everything's coming out these days is shorter deadlines for everyone in Hollywood. The new tools are amazing to have, but with the new tools, everyone's like, oh, the deadlines can be short and tight. And then now these producers are thinking, oh, now that we can shorten the deadlines, now we can crank out the next thing very quickly. And so now it's all just money, all money talk at this point. And so it's pissing off everybody with the shorter deadlines, because what's nice about those older films, because I more appreciate the classics than what comes out these days. I still watch The Lord of the Rings like no other.
Every year, are you one of those?
I watch it probably like 10 times in a single year.
Whoa.
The entire series. Oh, yeah.
The Hobbit too?
Huh? No.
Yeah, the Hobbit too.
Suck it, Kirk.
But I have nothing against the Hobbit, especially because I'm good friends with the dialogue editor there. So he actually really prides himself on his dialogue. So I appreciate his work. Like, it's very
that wasn't
authentic.
my issue with the film.
Which is good. It better not be.
What's your issue with get it out there.
I didn't think it needed to be 3 movies.
It didn't. No, in fact, if you read the book, it's one book.
Yeah, it's a novella practically compared to
They drew out some of the things like the conquest and all that stuff that didn't need to be drawn out. It could have just been simply one movie. It could have been a Harry Potter movie and like the Goblet of Fire or something like that, where it could have been a longer movie, but didn't need to be extended in 3. True. Yeah, I 100% agree about Hobbit and its length and what it all did. It just, I appreciated being in the world of Helm's Deep and all that again. I really enjoyed being in Middle Earth, right?
How'd you feel about the digital photography there, though? Because
that didn't kill me.
They shot in like 48 frames.
I thought it was 60, right?
60
yeah,
frames
60 frames per second, yeah.
And then Gemini Man did like 120 or something like that.
Gemini Man, yeah.
How dare you? Gemini Man has some great action scenes.
Except for the CGI on Will Smith's face, right? Who body doubled for the younger version?
I don't know, but it looks good when you see it in the fast frames per... Because like the 4K has it, I think, at like 48 or something like that. It's faster than 24. Because like a modern TV can do up to like 60 or something. Do either of you know off the top of your head?
No.
Because do you play video games, Andrew?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the refresh rate on the TV can go... the modern TVs can go up to 60 or something. Do you know offhand?
So that's not how it works.
Was it frames per second?
Well, so video games and film and broadcast are all different. There's delivery specs to everything. So when it gets delivered to a theater, they're not showing you it at 60 frames a second. They're showing
no, 24.
Yeah, it's 24 all the way.
Except for The Hobbit, there were places you could go watch it in 48. Because I saw the 5 armies that way.
Yes, there are certain theaters so hardware and configurations is... The reason everything's done in 24 because that is the industry standard for all hardware. 24 has been a known frame rate across the board for a very long time. So pretty much every product out there supports it. Now, when you start sending out different frame rates to different hardware, some hardware won't support it. So that's why you start getting select theaters where certain movies are shown at certain elements. So everything is delivered at a certain thing. It's not like every theater was at 48.
No. I'm aware of that. You can only go specific places to. Yeah,
but there's refresh rate and frame rate. And when it comes to animation, it's a whole different topic because in animation, you have to animate each of those individual frames. Where film, it's still in the same concept, but you're rolling on tape or digital these days. But each of those photos are captured to each frame. The way you choose to shoot is based on the content you're trying to produce. I mean, I could go on a rant here about this, but...
in which direction would the rant be?
So there's the production side, and then there's the post side. So you shoot a certain way to meet a certain qualification for editing in a certain format. 4K has its own different format to Blu-ray has its own format to broadcast its own format. So broadcast is going to be usually shown at
30, right?
Yeah, 30 frames a second. And then when we get to international, we're shooting at 25 frames per second or outputting 25 frames per second. That is the standard over there.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
I didn't know this.
Yeah, international's at 25 frames.
When I go to watch something in France, they're showing it at 25 frames, but you can't perceive that extra frame.
They have different broadcast interlacing and all that type of thing. So
you're talking about broadcast, so not watching a movie.
and watching a
TV.
movie, it's all different hardware out there. Yep, it's different hardware out in Europe and all that than what it is here. We North Americans decided to not follow suit because we want to be America. That's why we have different things. We want to be very much so independent from the old British.
But I thought 24 frames a second was like a scientific thing because your eye can't perceive more than a 24th of a second.
It's the way the hardware delivers the frames.
Okay.
That's what it is. And same with over in Europe. But there's science, yes, behind it, but none of it's concrete.
We've talked through the Academy Award nominees. You schooled us on a couple of terms I misused.
Yeah.
And I guess where I was coming with, just because I'm this much of a bitch.
Wow, alright.
I'm calling myself a bitch. I'm allowed to say it.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna allow you to call yourself that. Come on, I'm your brother.
You can't compel my speech. I can say whatever I want. What I meant with refresh rate is, doesn't it need to refresh each frame? And like that's the hardware thing where like certain modern TVs can refresh more frames faster, whereas like my CRT TV wouldn't be able to refresh things fast enough.
It can, but I would imagine if it's not shot that way, it would lag a little bit.
This is a modern thing. That's why I was being a stand for Gemini Man.
Yeah, it's based on what the delivery requirements are. That's what it comes down to. It's whatever hardware they're using at the final output. Like if it's going to be broadcast, so your home television is going to be at a certain frame rate. Where released in theaters, that'll be a certain frame rate. Specialized IMAX screenings will be another frame rate. Video games have a specific frame rate based on what they are trying to broadcast because a monitor is different from a television. And then same with international film and all that stuff. They have their own set of hardware and schemes that are different from North America. So that's why there's a bridge there between 24 and 25 because no one wants to meet in the middle. It's mostly North Americans that are the ones that are screwing everybody over.
Hey, we make like 50 larger percentage of the content until Asian markets beat us eventually.
Yeah, it's just silly. The only reason that happens is because of us just wanting to essentially be better than the other side. So, it's just the way we want to colonize ourselves. That's really why there's a difference in the short end of scheme. But yes, there is a scientific element behind each one because that team over there had a different belief on that, and this one had a different belief for 24. That's what it comes down to.
Andrew, people will hear your interview segment after this. What's a piece of it that you recall that you would like to entice folks into listening to the next segment?
Covered a lot of random things, I guess.
I've got an idea. You talked about having 2 jobs. You'll find out a lot more about the other job in the interview segment. Is that a fair one to entice people to the next?
From the previous segment of me talking about having 2 jobs, that is a good, I guess, takeaway to don't do what I do. It is exhausting and it does kill your body to constantly sleep only like 2 to 4 hours a day, especially when you're doing heavy lifting and operating of motorized vehicles and equipment, as well as then, coming into post sound and having to be highly focused on literally what your production is going to be. It's 2 different worlds that definitely take a lot from you, and having a family amongst the industry and in the middle of everything definitely is another thing that can kill you. It's because I got a wife, kids, and a household that I also have to do in the mix of all of it. So
Join us for our interview of Andrew, and join us next time for our debate. Well, we might actually have one.
let's have our debate real quick.
Yeah, all right.
On what?
Let's have a real debate.
All right.
What side of the Twix do you eat first?
Right.
I try to take a bite out of both sometimes,
Wow, all right.
Yeah.
just so that no one else wants them. Like, and then I think
You don't want to
because-
share your kids?
You're on the right. Jeez. Oh, those guys.
Yeah, he voted for Trump. That's what that is.
All right, funny story real quick at the end of it.
Is it about Twix?
No, I had to interrupt Trump's speech recently.
All right.
Part of what I do for day job.
Oh, where he was here locally?
He has a conference room here
All
in
right.
Twin
Interesting.
Cities, and I had to service the AV equipment there, and we had to end the meeting during one of their. It's about the recent events with the airlines, and he was on the conference call, and I had to end their meeting to fix the equipment because they were having camera difficulties.
Oh no.
So I don't care about political anything.
Sure.
I more pride myself on the work that I deliver. But the thing that's more asinine is when I got there, these guys only gave me 15 minutes to do my job.
Oh.
And I've never been there before, never seen their system or anything like that. But this company focuses on aviation for the entire United States.
Jeez.
So as you can imagine, with the tragic events and everything, especially with one of the Minnesota airlines recently crashing in Canada,
Yeah.
which is what their meeting was about. At least from when I walked in and heard a little bit. I wasn't supposed to hear much, but man, the security was insane on me. They pretty much put a bag over my head and dragged me through this entire building. I was given like a set path to go to where they had their audio and video equipment and all that stuff.
Did you have to interact with the president and say, "Excuse me, sir, we're going to have to end this meeting"?
So someone spoke for me.
Oh, yeah.
And said, "Hey, we have to end this meeting. You guys take a longer lunch or recess from the meeting." And the AV professionals here, they didn't drop my name or anything. They just said the AV professionals here. But I don't even think they knew my name.
Sure.
And then, they literally disbanded, and I got in there, and they said, "You only get 15 minutes, and that's all you get, and you gotta get the hell out of here quick."
Oh, all right.
And I fixed their stuff in 8 minutes and
Nice.
got the hell out of there.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about their system or anything like that. That was pretty unique recently.
Wow, that's
Damn.
a great story to end on. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is very interesting. It's very nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
It wasn't the fact, it was Trump on the other end, but
We can say you're fired.
Yeah.
Even though you're working.
but it was definitely nerve-wracking because of how high profile this entire thing was, because no one told me anything when I got there. Like, I had zero information. I just was told that, hey, you're here to fix AV issues. Like, I got to site and they're like, did you bring your birth certificate? Did you bring your passport? And then they had to like scan me for being a terrorist threat and all that stuff. So they literally looked me up on their government database of where the hell that is. So
Wait, they don't just know from your driver's license?
they had they asked for so much documentation from me.
They gotta make sure.
And they're like, you gotta sit here and wait. And then they wouldn't let me through or anything like that until my security got approved across the building. But this guy in their, I don't know, IT, I don't know what he does, because I couldn't know anything. They wouldn't tell me anything.
Sure.
He's just like, I'll be right back. I'm going to go talk to whoever up the branch and get you all security access. Yeah, the security was at say, like, there's like 6 guys surrounding me all the way through. That's what I say. It's like putting a bag over my head. They're like making sure made sure all the blinds are closed across all these highways so I can see through any of these monitoring sections where they look over all the aviation hardware. So it's very, very, very secure all the way through. And then once I was done, like, they knew I was done on the very second as soon as they saw camera footage again. They're like, get the hell out. They didn't say that, but they definitely made the point of escorted me immediately out of the building.
Wow.
And
where is it? Can you say? I assume you can't, right?
It's somewhere in Minnesota.
Yeah. Sweet. All right.
Just if things come of that. I don't want it to, create riots.
back to
Something.
you.
No, yeah. I think saying I was in the room when they were talking about the recent airline crisis. That's huge.
But no, I personally, if you guys want a political side of me, I have no interest in politics, Sarah. So
No,
That's fair. Thank you for listening. For more on JK Productions, find us on Instagram at JK Productions Team and on Facebook, JK Productions MN.